So let's say that the learning for you is to learn how to create a healthy romantic relationship. Now, let's look at some patterns that could potentially block you from doing this. Let's say, for example, that your mother growing up was very neglectful. She didn't give you the attention that you needed. She didn't give you the love. She didn't pay attention to you and give you the love that you really needed and craved as a child, that we all need and we all crave, right? And she was just self-absorbed and just focused on herself and didn't have any time for you. So this can create a need in you to get that love and appreciation. And what can happen is, now let's say you're a teenager and you're beginning to date, and as soon as anyone shows you even the smallest amount of appreciation and interest, you immediately fall in love with them, right? And then you end up creating this series of unhealthy relationships because you're unable to be selective, because as soon as anyone shows interest, you immediately fall in love with them, okay? So this is one example of how trauma, a pattern from your childhood, could in adulthood continue to block you from getting the soul lesson or the learning. Let's look at another possible pattern. Let's say your mother was neglectful, but your father was also quite neglectful, okay? Let's say that your father was not home very often, but when he was really angry, he was really mean, and he was scary, and he would yell at you a lot, right? So what this can create is a fear of losing yourself in relationship, because let's say when your father came around, you lost touch with some of the parts of yourself that you really valued, like your tenderness or your sensitivity or your gentleness or your ability to be loving, right? Because you were responding to your father's harsh energy, you felt like you had to hide this part of yourself, and you would lose touch with this part of yourself in that relational dynamic. So then that sets you up for later in life feeling like you can't be in a relationship without eventually losing this part of yourself. So then what can happen is you can unconsciously sabotage yourself by attracting relationships that you know are doomed to fail at some point, right? So this way you're protecting yourself from ever having to lose yourself in relationship like you used to with your father. So this is another example of how you can have patterns of sabotage that really block you from fully learning and integrating whatever the soul lesson is for the Lyme disease. Okay, now most likely the two learnings I just described are not the ones for you. So whatever yours is, we'll find what it is, and we'll find whatever patterns you have that are preventing you from fully learning and integrating it on all levels. And then once we do that, then we can move on to the next step, which is to do the physical energetic process of beginning to clear the Lyme out of your system. So thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to working with you soon.